Hey everyone, my name is Jason, and for my project, I'll be doing cooking through the day. For this, I'll be showing a recipe for French breakfast, lunch, dinner, and dessert, and I'll be explaining how you make each of them, so I hope you enjoy. For our first recipe, I'll be showing how to make a buckwheat galette. This is the original crepe recipe, and it dates back over 1,000 years ago to Brittany, France. To begin, I'll combine milk, melted butter, and some eggs to make the batter. Once this is smoothly combined, I'll add in buckwheat flour. Now I'm going to add some extra water to smooth it to a good consistency and begin to make the crepes. I'll add some butter to the hot skillet, add some batter, and begin to tilt the pan to cover all the edges. These cook quickly, so after about a minute I'll flip it over to finish cooking. The simplest and most traditional way to eat these is spread with some butter and letting it melt, although you can also make a galette out of it, which is adding shredded Gruyere cheese and sliced ham to it, letting that melt and adding a fried egg on top. After letting the toppings get all melted, I'll add on the fried egg. I got lucky and got a double yolk egg. Once the egg is finished cooking, I'll put it on top of the toppings and fold it up. Next up, I'll make a croque madame sandwich for lunch. This is a sandwich that originates around 100 years ago in the cafes of Paris. I'm going to start by melting some butter and then adding some flour and milk to make a classic French bechamel sauce. This process is known as making a roux, and in this case I'll be going for a blonde roux. Once that's all smooth, I'm going to add some Dijon mustard and the shredded Gruyere cheese. While the sauce is finishing up, I'm going to lay down a couple slices of ham onto each of the brioche slices. Next, the ham gets topped with some of the bechamel sauce and more of the shredded Gruyere. The sandwiches are now going to get toasted in a buttered skillet so that each side can brown. Once they're all browned, I'm going to remove them from the heat and top them with the rest of the bechamel sauce and some more of the shredded Gruyere cheese. The sandwiches now go into the broiler to get brown on top on the cheese and bechamel, and meanwhile I'm going to fry up 2 sunny side up eggs. Once the cheese is golden, I'll add the fried sunny side up eggs on top. They're now ready to slice into and enjoy. dinner, I'll be making steak au poivre, and I'll be serving it with pommes frites. This is going to be a New York strip steak with french fries and a peppercorn cream sauce. This dish is ubiquitous across the bistros and cafes of France. I'm going to start out by peeling a couple of russet potatoes and using a mandolin to get perfect french fry slices. I'll let them sit in cold water for a few hours, and then use a paper towel to dry them off. I'll start to heat up the oil. I'm using canola oil and rendered beef tallow, and I'll season the steaks with some coarse salt. I'll begin to fry the french fries and start to render the fat cap from the New York strip steaks before searing them on both sides. Once they're seared on the first side, I'll flip them over and I'll stir the french fries so they don't stick together or get burnt. Now that the steaks have seared on both sides, I'll add in a knob of butter, a couple of crushed garlic cloves, and some fresh thyme, and I'll begin to baste the steaks to finish cooking them. Once they're finished cooking, I'll remove them from the heat and let them rest for a few minutes. I'll take out the first batch of french fries and I'll start to make the peppercorn cream sauce. The sauce begins with a few chopped shallots, some crushed garlic, and I'll cook that in the rendered beef fat and butter. I'll crush up some black peppercorns coarsely and I'll add this as well. Once these have softened, I'll add in some cognac to deglaze the pan. You can already see it starting to thicken up as the alcohol evaporates. Now I'm adding in a sprig of fresh thyme and some heavy cream to finish off the sauce. While the sauce is thickening up, I'll slice up the steak and get it ready to plate. Here I'm just adding in some extra black pepper. Now it's all ready to add the sliced steak, french fries, and peppercorn cream sauce to the plate. To go along with the steak frites, here's also a recipe for our French 75 cocktail, which is named after a type of artillery used by the French military in World War I and is said to have been created by British soldiers who were stationed in Western France. Here I'm also going to show how to make a French 75 cocktail, which dates back to World War I, and this will be lemon juice, gin, and some cane sugar, and once this is combined, I'll top it with some champagne. Lastly, for dessert, I'll be making a cherry and blueberry clafoutis, although this recipe traditionally uses whatever fruit is seasonally available. To begin, I'll combine the milk, flour, eggs, sugar, and vanilla in the blender to create a batter. Here I've got our cherries and blueberries, and I'm going to begin to grease the pan with some butter to keep it from sticking. After pouring a thin layer of the batter into the pan, I'm going to cook it for a few minutes to allow it to set. Once that's begun to set, I'll add the cherries and blueberries in an even layer. Now it's time to add the rest of the batter, top it with the rest of the sugar, and bake it in the oven. After 45 minutes in the oven at 350 degrees, it's ready to take out, let it cool for a few minutes, and top with powdered sugar. It's now ready to slice into and enjoy. Thank you all for watching, and I hope I've inspired you to try out some of these recipes.